What's going on, guys? My name is Jacob,
I'm Armando.
and we are
The
the
Gospel
Gospel Guys.
Guys.
Now, I'm really excited. We're getting into episode 3, the surrender.
Mm.
I'm really excited about this,
Yeah.
man. We talked about the cost last week, and we talked about what it takes to give up everything to things that you might lose in your life, because of giving up things for God. But the reward, we always talk. Well, we ended off about the reward is greater.
Mm.
I hope that you guys were able to really think about that question of what's really been things that you're noticing in your life that you really just are having a hard time giving up. I hope that you were able to text us, put in the comments, or anything, man. We love to just interact with you guys. We want to talk to you guys. We want to help you guys in any way we can.
Mm.
But this episode, man, it's going to be more about surrendering, which is another hard thing to do,
Very hard.
but it's necessary. You want to kick this off, man?
Yeah, definitely. If my own experience in surrendering stuff, like I kind of said in the last episode, it kind of became more of an easier thing for me lately. If you're starting out your journey, though, there's no, like, surrendering is not easy if you're just starting out, right? Like, to be told that you need to give stuff up to, like, grow your relationship with God can be a hard pill to swallow. So, Jacob, let me ask you, what does surrender look like?
What does surrender look like? I think it's just not giving up your control, giving up your whole ability to just be in control of everything. Because like I said, man, that's kind of something we always want to do in our lives, is just be in control of everything, our finances, uh, our relationships, like everything that goes in our lives. We want to be in control of that. And I think surrendering is just like having all your stuff that you're going through, just put it in a plate and just be like, all right, God, here, done. I can't do it no more.
Yeah.
I think it's just really giving that up. Honestly, it's just surrendering everything that you feel like you have to do on your own to God. I think that's more like surrender.
Yeah.
Just being at its full submissive, like being submissive to that, being at mercy of just like, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, kind of bouncing off what you said, but like, it's not just surrendering things, but like surrendering yourself. Right. So, I think a lot about just having faith, right? When you have faith, you need to surrender what you're feeling to just give it to God, right? And faith on His own is just believing in what we do not see, right? Having faith in what we do not see. And so when you surrender your faith to God, which is a lot easier said than done, you can start to see changes also. I think, but that's something that we got to work on every single day, because I think at really trying times in life, it can be extremely difficult to have faith and just surrender.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of how I said in our first episode too, like, especially for me, like as someone who likes to just handle things and fix things myself, I still struggle with surrendering to God. Right. But the Bible calls us to do that, and something that we need to continuously work on.
Yeah.
That being said, surrendering is a daily choice, right? It's not just something you do one time. Like, you can't be like, okay, God, I'm giving this to you today, and then tomorrow I'm going to fix it myself. Like, there's no point in doing that, bro. Like, if we're working on a project, all right, bro, like, I'm going to take care of this, but tomorrow, like, you're going to finish it.
Yeah.
Why? Like, if I said I was going to do it, why am I going to give the rest to you?
Yeah.
Right? Or vice versa. So for us, the way I see it too is just like, we can't just trust God one time and call it quits, right? I think that by doing that, we're just easily not like rebelling against God, but like we're just not trusting Him, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's like being in a relationship, right? You're not going to be in a relationship if you don't trust the person. You get me? So it's like, I'll use you for an example, but like, let's say I trusted you with a secret, right? Hey man, just don't tell anybody, but like, I'm a raging alcoholic. No, right? I'm not. But,
yeah.
But then you go and tell your coworkers, oh, my boy Armando, that boy just drinks like crazy. And then I hear somebody else, I'm like, bro, I told you not to tell anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. Like, it was just the one time. I'm not going to do it again. Then you go to a party, bro, Armando, wild drinker. like, bro, like, I can't surrender my trust to you if you're going to do that. And that's what we do with God.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, it's okay if I'm surrendering. Let's say I'm struggling with a coworker, right? We just don't get along. All right, God, I'm going to surrender this relationship to you because I don't know what to do. guide me, right?
Yeah.
But if I go to work and start arguing with this boy, I'm not giving it to God, bro. You get me? What do you think about that?
I agree. Um, I think yeah, surrender is obviously trust.
Mm.
Um, Trusting that God will take care of everything, and I get it's very hard because a lot of times people feel like God is just very absent or quiet,
Mm-hmm.
but He's always listening.
Yeah.
And just because we surrender does not mean like, all right, God, here's everything, you do your part, and then they just that's it.
Yeah.
But like, okay, well, what are you gonna do to make sure God is in control of that? Like, are you actually praying about it? Are you actually getting to your word about it? Are you actually like showing by your life that
Mm-hmm.
you are surrendering to Him? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's a huge thing right there. It's really trust. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really having trust, and I know that can be very hard. I mean, it was hard for
Yeah.
me. But like I said, but like, I mean, honestly, there's things right now that I have a hard time surrendering
Mm-hmm.
to. But I know I just like, it's just like, God, all right, I trust you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just, I gotta learn that.
Yeah, for me too. Like, just gotta kind of get personal with it. Like with my anxiety, we were just talking about this before the episode started, but my anxiety revolves around my health, right? And so, for whatever reason, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack at any second.
Yeah.
And so, I've been to the doctor multiple times. I've been to multiple hospitals. I've been going to therapy, and like, even just recently, I went to the doctor a few days ago, and they were like, "Yeah, we got the results from your stress test from the cardiologist, and like, results are normal." So I'm like, okay, then like, why do I feel this way? It's anxiety, dude. Like anxiety literally induces. We were just talking about it. The brain is a
Yeah.
crazy thing, man. Right? It induces
Mhm.
bodily functions, whatever. It makes you feel stuff you're not supposed to feel. But my biggest thing is like, why can't I just trust God and like believe it?
Mhm.
Right? He is giving the doctors that I'm working with the wisdom to like do these tests and tell me that I'm okay. Why can't I trust him?
Mhm.
Right. So that's something I'm really struggling with right now. Just going back to struggling with stuff every like in this moment, right? But again, it's literally just me relearning. Like, hey, like it's my sinful nature. Like I want to control this, but I can't.
Mhm.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a cardiologist. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on inside my body, and that's why I'm taking these steps to go through that, right? But like, I need to take those steps with God
Yeah.
and just continue to trust Him. Like, hey, man, like you're okay. I was with these doctors when they did these tests, when they went over the results. Trust me.
Mhm.
And like you said, it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
But
100%.
it's like kind of going back to our point, like it's a daily choice. That's something we have to fight for every single day.
Yeah.
You know?
That's definitely. I think with medical, bro, it's so hard to trust
Mm.
in God in those moments
Yeah.
because it's like it what sucks too is like when they give you like days for results, you're just like,
I want to know right now.
I know, dude. I'm just like, come on, man, please.
Yeah.
And then those are the moments where you have to like really surrender to God. Just
Just
like, all right,
trust.
God, bro.
Yeah, when I think about that, I think about two prime examples that come to mind is the woman that was bleeding,
Yeah.
right? When Jesus was traveling and she said, "Bro, like if I touch his robe, I will be healed."
Yeah.
Like she had that much faith. She didn't even need to talk to him. He didn't even
Yeah.
lay hands on her. I'm gonna touch his robe and I'll be fine. And what happened? She was fine.
Exactly.
Or even that blind man he healed. He was blind since birth, I think, and then
Yeah.
Jesus put some dirt on his eyes. That boy said, "Here, like you're healed," and he could see, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know what like for me personally, bro. Maybe you can help me out with this, but like, what's it gonna take for me to like have that faith to just trust in God? You know,
Man. Yeah. That.
it's a
I think I
tough-
struggle with that too, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's like, I think for me, like I said, bro, like me, I'm more of like a prayer person.
Mhm.
Like I love praying. So for me, bro, like I just kind of like, I just go on my knees and I just like give it to God, like
Mm.
everything that I can think of in my mind. And like I know it's in scripture, like not to babble like pagans, but I truly feel like I'm talking to God.
Yeah.
Like I need to let it out.
Yeah.
Like, and that's my problem is like a lot of times when I go through stuff, I don't like to share it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just do that with God, like, God, like I know I'm feeling this way, but I can't. With this, with that, and like I pray for Him to like ignite like a fire in my heart to
Mhm.
just trust Him.
Yeah.
Like God, like what do I like? Show me what I need to do. Like what do I need to do to trust You? Like I'm struggling here to trust
Yeah.
You.
I think the thing with me lately is like when I pray for God to help me with my anxiety, I not only pray for His guidance to like help me surrender my anxiety to him, but also like, dude, just like, not dude, like God, like,
Yeah.
please lay your healing hand on me. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's literally God or like through the doctors. You know, like I need to trust him and believe that he's taking care of me.
Yeah.
Again, it's a lot easier said than done. You know, like it's a lot of things in life which is easier said than done, especially when it comes to your mental health, when it comes to
Yeah.
grief, right? But just something we need to work on every day. And I think part of that too is just having a support system, right? Have other people in your life that are gonna reassure you that God is taking care of you,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So, but we even see that the example you wanted to give was when he was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane,
Yeah.
right? Jesus literally he was stressed, bro. I can't imagine how high his anxiety levels were that he was sweating
Yeah.
blood, dog.
Yeah, that's like a rare condition too.
Extremely. I was reading somewhere, not to compare Jesus to an animal, but like I think hippos are the only known animals to sweat like red.
Really?
I don't know if I'm not sure if it's blood, but like hippos actually do that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's hippos, a certain kind of hippo. But like, right, he was asking God to deliver him from what he knew had to be done, but ultimately, he knew what it was and he surrendered. And that we keep coming back to this topic, dude, of like the sacrifice he made and like what it means to us, and like, you know, just envisioning it. Like, I can't imagine just the feeling of, okay, God, this is it. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Oh man.
Just knowing what's about to happen, bro. Like,
Yeah.
but
It's-
that's the attitude we need to have with God. Like,
yeah.
and especially because we don't know what's gonna happen. We can't tell
Yeah.
the future. God's not telling us what's coming. Well,
Exactly.
not in like a literal aspect.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is gonna happen tomorrow, right? We don't know
Yeah.
that. But like, to just get on your knees before God, and that's something I've been trying to practice too. Like, apparently, there's like a lot of positive aspects to like getting on your knees and just praying to
Oh,
God.
bro, I'm
You know,
telling
like
you,
there's
it's
a lot more power in that,
very different.
in a spiritual sense, right? And I did that last week, I think, and I started crying.
Yeah.
Bro, like it's a crazy feeling. But just coming before God and saying, hey, you know what? Deliver me from this, guide me, heal me. I think that takes practice also. I think the more you do that, the more you can start to believe it too.
Yeah. I think when I think about like Jesus in that garden, um, I can't even just like the fact that he knows what's going to happen, but we don't, and yet we're stressing about it could either be a good thing or bad. Like we
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
we're over here stressing about what's uncertain, but like Jesus knew the pain, the everything he was gonna go through, and yet like he still surrendered. You know, and like what's crazy is like yeah he was asking for another way 3 times,
Yeah.
and then on top of that is like he goes to check up on his best friends, and they're asleep on him
Sleeping, bro.
3 times, and he's just like well like Jesus felt like on an island in that
Yeah.
moment, you know,
Alone.
and I'm pretty sure he's just like feeling like imagine you are going through like the heaviest part, like the heaviest moment of your life, and you are alone, like on an island, and you're just scared and sad because
Don't know what to do.
exactly, and he's at that moment, he's just like, what do I, but then he surrenders, and I think
Yeah.
it's like that's the ultimate example of like surrendering,
Yeah,
bro. Because
absolutely.
man, sweating blood is actually crazy. Like, it's like an
Wild.
extreme level of stress, and it's
Yeah.
such a rare condition.
Yeah. Just bouncing off that, like, why do you think for us as people it's so difficult to surrender?
Like I said earlier, control. We're so possessive. I think we're so possessive of what we want to happen. Like we want to control our own destinies. You know, like we want to be able to predict what our life will be like.
Yeah.
You know, like for someone that is trying to get rich, like they are gonna want to do everything in their way, like possible way
to get that.
to get to that goal.
Yeah.
Or just anything in life. Like, I mean, for a video game aspect, like if you're trying to get, it's like a certain level, like you're grinding every single day because it's
Yeah.
like it's your
That's your goal.
goal.
Yeah.
Like you're in control of that. But I think for like a real life aspect is Like, I'll be vulnerable here, you know? Like, me, bro, like, I've been struggling since I was 17 and stuff. And I've always wanted more money. Like, I've always wanted to
Yeah.
have way more than, like, I wanted to always have enough to, like, at least not be paycheck to paycheck or,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
be able to just not stress about a bill coming
Comfortable.
up, you know?
Yeah.
And I think for me, bro, I started going to, like, sports betting,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Because that was I was controlling, like, yeah, I had to leave it up to the athletes to do what they did, but I'm in control of putting money in there.
Yeah.
I'm in control of putting $100, $200 down. I'm like, bro, you're an idiot, you know? Like, you could use that money for something else or
Yeah.
save that money.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, if I win, that's cool, but when I lose, I just lost money, you know?
Yeah.
And
Hard earned money at that.
hard earned
Like,
money at that point, yeah. And I'm like, dang, dude, you're a goofball because
mm-hmm.
it's like, that's why people can't surrender right there is
Yeah.
because
Control.
I wanted to control my destiny. I wanted to be able to be like, you know what? If God's not going to help me, I'll get to where I need
Do
to
it
be.
myself. Yeah.
Look what that's done for me. It's done nothing. It's
Yeah.
because I just need it at that point. But that's why I delete that app, bro. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what?
Good.
I need to surrender to God. Like, He has that plan for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just not ready yet because He knows what I'll do with my money. Or maybe it's just He has a specific time for me to do that. And I have to surrender. So, yeah, bro, I've been doing a lot better at that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I think that's the main reason is because people
Yeah.
want to be able to get to where they want themselves, but it's not possible.
Yeah. I think my answer is simple and it's not. I think we just lack faith.
Yeah. Like,
You know, as people, I think it's really difficult for us to believe in something we can't see. You know, but again, that's literally what faith is.
yeah.
Right? Going on a whim. But the Bible even tells us, man, if we had faith as small as a mustard seed. Y'all seen how small a mustard seed is, bro?
Yeah, they're
like tiny, dude.
You can probably put a picture.
Yeah, I'll put a picture up. But faith as small as a mustard, we can move mountains. What does it say about us as people, bro? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine, like, going back to the woman that was bleeding, how much faith did she have that she got healed?
Yeah. 'Cause,
You know?
like, just imagine I'm healed. Like,
That's
you
it,
touch
bro.
a little garment.
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
Right. So I think that that's something that, even as well-seasoned disciples or Christians, man, like, faith is always something that we're working on. You
Yeah.
know, I think we kind of talked about it in the last episode, like, where your faith gets tested, and that's the real hard part, you know, especially when you feel like you're doing so good, you get into a place where you're comfortable with God, and, like, then an obstacle comes up. Are you ready to surrender your faith and just give it to God?
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
hard.
Every time something good happens, something always just like
Someone's about to bounce back.
it's like God
test
was
you,
like,
bro.
"Oh, really?"
Yeah.
And then He hits you with something. You're just like, "All right, bro."
Yeah, especially with that kind of, I think about that kind of stuff. I think about the story of Job.
Yeah.
You know, man literally lost everything because Satan made a deal with God, right? Satan literally thought he can take away Job from God. But God said, try him. And even this man's own wife said, bro, just curse God and die. That's how bad things were. He said no, because I know my God will deliver me from this. And then he got even more afterwards, bro. Like that's the thing, bro. Like going back to what you were saying, like we don't know what's gonna happen. Like it's hard to really just ask people again, just surrender, because like we're so reliant on like just wanting to know things, wanting to know what's coming next, expecting stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so even going back to the last lesson too, like, dude, you just hold out, surrender to God, like you might be rewarded even more. That's the whole idea of being a Christian, right? We're holding out for a reward because what's in the end is what matters to us.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. Yeah, dude, that surrender is just like some of the hardest
It's hard.
thing. But
It's
you're
really
right, bro.
hard.
It's lack of faith.
Yeah.
It truly is just lack of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, from my experiences, I definitely did lack faith. There's still times when I do, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's times where I'm just like upset because I'm like where I'm at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, you're not really surrendering. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're still doubting God.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to doubt God, but I
Yeah.
still do, you know. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, I hate that about myself. Man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, at that point, it kind of goes back to what you were saying about just having that trust in God, right? Because I think faith and trust are two different things. Because with faith, again, it's just something that you you have to work on with something that you can't even see.
Yeah.
Trust is, in a sense, earned, right? But like, we also just need to just trust God,
Yeah.
right? I think for me, it's an easy thing because like I've seen God move in my life. All right, I'm gonna trust. Not to say it's always easy,
Yeah.
but to just trust God. Again, just going back to like my health stuff. Like, okay, I just need to trust God and believe that everything's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but that's also just getting to a point where we believe that His plan is better than what we have planned.
Yeah. It's so hard to
You
believe
know,
sometimes.
and that's my thing too. Even going back to the whole idea of like I said before, when I went to a really good music school, I thought God's plan for me was to be a musician, but things happened that were out of my control, and I had to stop going to school. Right, but again, I need to just believe. Okay, that was my dream, but maybe it wasn't God's dream.
Mm. Yeah.
God has a better plan for me.
Those are the humbling moments right
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Because
Those
that was my thing. You know, I was saying I picked up a guitar at 12 years old. I was practicing for hours every day. I got accepted into the school when I was 19, so I had a good 7 years of playing under my belt, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty good. I am pretty good, right? And so that was my thing. Like, hey, I'm gonna get into this school. I'm gonna take off and make connections, be a musician. But again, I truly believe that's just not what God wanted for me. And that's the thing too. Like, I think it took me a while to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like, not to touch on a sensitive subject, but like with your mom, like you kind of said the last episode too. Like, you think that had to happen for you to get close to God.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to be like, okay, I get it. You get me?
I think still to this day.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Man.
Still
It's
to
really
this day.
hard.
But I'm definitely a way better piece at it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, like his plans are just like beyond our understanding,
Yeah.
and it's to benefit us at the end of the day. But some of the things he does, bro, it's so humbling, because it's like, well, I thought I had it right,
Yeah.
and then it just slaps you across the face, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole different result.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, is like his when you pray, it's like we expect to have like a genie say yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, but it's like he's still answering your prayers by saying no. You know,
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
he's
That's
gonna,
sorry.
yeah. I was say like even when he says no, like he's still giving you an answer. It's just
Mhm.
not something you want to hear.
Yeah, I think I've read it somewhere. Somebody told me God's prayers are never yes. It's always no or not yet.
Yeah,
You know, God's plan is always playing out, whether we think so or not. Everything we do is pretty much in accordance to God's plan. Because what you pray for, like, I think the Bible also says too, like, maybe you can correct me, but it talks about how everything is something about everything being beneficial, but not everything is like permissible or something like that.
I know what
Right.
you're
So
saying. Though, yeah,
the way I see it, God gives us everything on earth to enjoy, right? But like, it doesn't mean we can abuse it,
uh-huh.
right? We have these things He gave us for a reason.
I'm thinking about how people always says, "Well, God put weed on this earth
Right.
so we can smoke it." I'm like, well, He did, but it wasn't for to be not having a sober mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
I always hear that. I'm like, okay, bro.
Yeah.
You guys just want to find loopholes in the
Literally,
faith, man.
like, just again going back to those gray areas where you
Yeah.
can just find it. I was having a conversation with somebody recently too, like, maybe I'm dumb for thinking this way, but like when it comes to like medications, I was like, okay, like the Bible says to be a sober mind, right? To not do anything that alters your mind state. Like, so am I in sin for taking like anti-anxiety medication? Like,
I don't know. Actually,
I don't think. I think
yeah, no.
God, like you
He's
just
gracious,
said,
bro.
yeah,
So he
He
knows.
gives us
I think it's the heart, really. It's like the
Yeah.
heart. Like if you're taking it to get,
to get high or whatever.
then
like,
yeah. But if you're taking it to like legit, like take care of
I need
yourself,
help.
I think like
yeah, it's permissible.
it'd be different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, what's an area of your life where you feel like you struggle with control at the moment? I know you kind of shared about the whole gambling thing, but
Yeah.
like, do you think there's something right now that you're struggling with control?
Yeah, I think like my career, like my
Mhm.
life. Well, yeah, I say my career, like my future.
Yeah.
That's just everybody's, but I think for me, bro, definitely my future. Like, I do have a great job, but it's like, man, is that where I want to be? You know,
Right.
like, is this where I want to be 5 years from now,
Mm-hmm.
3 years from now, 10 years from now? Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm struggling with that,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm at my position right now is because I wanted to be in control. Like,
Mhm.
I'm in control of it because I'm comfortable in it.
Yeah.
But like part of me, like there's a part of me that's tugging where it's like I can do so much more than what I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
You know, like I genuinely love talking to people, helping people. Um, so like maybe like yeah, yeah, I'm kind of I'm going to school for psychology and stuff, but like I hate school, dude.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
hate school so much, and um, but I know like if I actually want to like be like a grief therapist and all that stuff, like I have to go to school for it, bro. But I have a hard time right now, bro, because like I'm so comfortable where I'm at, and I can't
Mhm.
let that go. Like I'm really struggling with like I can't let go of my comfortability,
Yeah.
and I have to surrender that. Like I have to I have to be okay with not being like comfortable.
You want to know something crazy? Kind of going back to your old school thing. I actually, when I first went to college, I actually went to college. I wanted to be a counselor.
Really?
Yeah, that was my thing. I wanted to be a counselor, help people out. Honestly, I think I would have been great at it, but I just couldn't get past my general classes, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I hated doing. Like, I did great in my psychology and sociology classes, but like everything else,
bro, same.
whack, bro.
Cause like I
Like,
actually want to learn
yeah,
psychology, but everything else I'm like,
I don't
bro,
care, bro. Just
I
give me
don't
my.
care what two plus. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, literally. Um, yeah, it's crazy because so there was a pretty bad accident in my job a few months ago, and we had a therapist come on site to kind of just talk to people who were kind of affected by it, and I went to go talk to him. And after we talked, he was like, "You know what? You'd be a really good therapist." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, dude. Like just based off the things that we're talking about, like you should consider going back to school." I was like, "Oh, I don't like school, bro." Like,
I know.
but you know,
Dude, it was crazy, but like maybe that's like that could have just been God, like
yeah,
bro, telling you what you can do, but
yeah,
you're not doing it. Like
right,
same thing with me, bro. Like when there's people at my job, man, I've lost people, and I help them. Like I'll talk to them, like just because I've learned, bro. Like you don't tell people that are grieving, like they're in a better place. That
yeah,
like they don't want to hear that.
mm-hmm.
They want to hear like encouraging things, like hearing good things about
Mm-hmm.
them. And I like to always bring up like their good memories with them.
Yeah,
And one person is like, bro, you should really try going into that. And I was like, well, I hate school, so
yeah,
I
literally.
don't want to like. Why can I just go to school and just do my psychology classes, but without
Mm-hmm.
the math,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
English, and all
Well,
that
you know
stuff?
what's funny is like in most countries you can do that.
Yeah,
It's literally just here. We're like, no, you need to learn everything else too
yeah,
before you get your degree. Like,
yeah,
why, bro? I just want to go to school for what I want to learn, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, I think honestly for me, it's kind of the job aspect too. Like, I have an okay job. I do a lot of overtime, so the money's pretty good in that aspect. But like, I think the only reason why I don't want to go back to school, um, God presented an opportunity to work in aerospace. So I'm just waiting for a start date. Um, but like, it takes time. You have to go through clearances and
Oh yeah.
background investigations. It takes a lot of time. So I think the thing for me is surrendering my patience.
Mm,
Like I got the call that I got the job and signed my contract like a year and a half ago, and I still haven't started.
I know what you.
You
I know
know,
what you. I know how that
so
feels.
yeah, so it's just like okay, I need to surrender my patience to God now and just
Yeah.
be content with the fact that I am where He wants me to be right now. And kind of even going back to the whole money aspect, like maybe God doesn't want me to have that money yet. Maybe He wants me to struggle a little bit first and learn just be more appreciative of having that and what I can use that for later on. You get me?
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Cause like that's probably why like I was seeing all these other people win, like
Yeah.
win their like bets,
Yeah.
but like I just would not win, bro. It'd be so rare, and I'd feel confident like, oh, this person can get this, but it's like yeah. I mean, I'm not even gonna say it was bad luck. I just feel like God was just like allowing that to not happen for me, cause it's like I was doing it my way, like,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't a good way, cause I was getting addicted to doing
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and I'm glad I got out of that aspect, but it's because I wasn't surrendering, bro. I wasn't really like having faith in God that I can get out this situation I'm in.
Yeah.
So like now, yeah, bro, like I definitely am wanting to get this degree, but I'd say it's really hard to surrender
Yeah.
my like future right now because I'm having still I still struggle with that right
Yeah.
now.
For sure. To bounce off that, what do you think it means to like really, really trust God versus saying that we are?
Man, I think it's like getting out of your comfort zone
Mm.
at that point. Like for me, I didn't do a good example of that because I skipped this semester
Mm.
from school.
Speaking of school, yeah.
So it's like that was a great example. I was
Mm.
saying I want to surrender God, but this semester I didn't. Like last semester was tough
Mm.
because yeah, I was working a night shift and I was going to school, but and I did it though, but I still
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
It was low key hard, but I'm looking back now, I'm like, yeah, bro, like I should have just went to school this semester
Mm.
because I didn't surrender it to God. I didn't trust
Yeah.
God enough to take care of me.
Yeah.
But that's what sucks, bro. So that's definitely the difference
Mm.
is that I'm living the example of right now, just I said I was surrendering it. I say I'm going to, but I didn't this semester.
Right.
And I should have. And now I'm like counting the cost on that
Mm.
because I didn't trust in him. I didn't surrender to him. But
Yeah.
now I'm learned, and I'm like definitely next semester I'm definitely gonna go back to school because he takes care of me, man. He took care of me last semester. It was hard, but he still took care of me. I still
Yeah.
got what I got done. So
Yeah, I think for me, it's more like the aspect of like behind closed doors. Like, it's one thing for me to tell you, like, oh, yeah, I'm trusting God with this, but I go home and, like, nah, I got to handle it.
yeah,
Right. So, why am I telling you that?
yeah,
Still look
exactly.
good?
Yeah,
You know, I think that's a hard thing, too, because I feel like a lot of people do that to just kind of save face. You know, it's kind of like when you go talk to somebody and ask them how they're doing. Oh, I'm doing good. You good? All right. See you next week. Nah, bro. Like, that aspect really just involves us getting real with ourselves. You know, I think that even the Bible, like going back to what it says, let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes, right? So if I'm telling you something, I should be doing it.
yeah,
If I'm outwardly telling people, like if I'm telling listeners, hey, I'm trusting God, but I'm not, I'm just fooling myself, bro.
hmm
You know, there's no point in doing all of that. But obviously, when we do surrender, we feel a huge sense of freedom. You know, we feel like we stop carrying these burdens. And, you know, again, going back to the Bible, you know, the God's not going to give us anything we can't handle.
yeah,
I truly believe that everything we go through in life is a lesson from God, whether it's good or bad. Right? But once we learn to surrender those things, there's just so much more peace that comes with that, too.
so much more freedom.
Yeah.
That it's rewarding. It actually feels rewarding. Um, I think I remember whenever I've surrendered, like, let's say my smoke addiction. Yeah, right, I used to smoke like 3 times a day, and I remember like giving that up, surrendering it to God, bro. Like it feels so good because I was like, I really didn't need all that, bro.
Yeah.
And I look back at myself, I'm like, you're a clown, bro. Like it was not even like that good, you know. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I feel like so much more free from it because like
Mm.
being in control is like you're chained, you know. Like
Yeah.
um, it just feels like you can't like you're so stuck to want to do it to yourself. So you're like, when you let it to God, bro, it's kind of like He can go wherever He wants with it,
Yeah. Definitely.
and you're kind of like free in that. It's just like, you know what, God is always gonna want to put our best interests at heart.
Mm.
So why would He ever like want to fail us? Like sometimes
Yeah.
the answers are gonna be, yeah, no's. That's okay,
Yeah.
but it's for our best interest. And I got like that's the part we need to really trust in, where it's like a like it's a father like saying no to his son about like,
Mm.
oh, Dad, can I get this candy? Like no, that like dad's probably saying no because he doesn't want the kid to get like
Cavities.
cavities or diarrhea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll get consequences from it
Mhm.
sometimes, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's how God is with us, you know. Like,
Mm.
God, please, I want this. No, or
Yeah. Literally.
not yet. Trust me,
Yeah.
the time will come.
So, do you think that surrendering brings joy in that aspect?
I think when you fully surrender,
Mm.
I think when you're like in the
Half
moment,
in.
yeah, like when you're in
Yeah.
the moment or half in, you're just like, this is so hard. But when you actually just surrender it, whatever you're going through, you're just like, you feel at peace because
Yeah.
you know it's God taking care of you. You
Yeah,
know that the
absolutely.
result is that God is gonna always take care of you.
Mm.
And I think that's like you just talking about it right now. I'm really realizing like, bruh, then do that for your own life. Because I feel like a hypocrite just kind of talking about it
Sure.
right now.
Sure.
And this episode low key convicted me. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
I really feel like I need to do this.
Yeah, I think I struggle with that too. Like, I think as people, we have a hard time. Like, nobody's happy about doing things they don't want to do.
Yeah,
No one. If you are, teach us how to do that. You
yeah,
know, like
please.
that's such a hard thing. Like, um, the way I kind of see it is not. I don't want to say chores, but like parents ask you to go take out the trash, or whatever. Yeah, it might be a burden for you, but you just took a burden off your parents,
Yeah,
right? So when we surrender to God, God wants us. God wants to take our burdens.
yeah,
He wants to take out our trash. So why is it so hard for us to give him our trash? We want to be in control. It's our pride. And it's just, again, just even going back to faith. Having faith and surrender. Like, I understand it's such a hard thing to give that to somebody that you can't even see,
yeah,
right? But you even said it yourself. Once you can like manage to even do that a little bit, you feel so much more peace. You feel happier.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a healthier mindset to have.
Yeah.
The fact that that, okay, I can just give this to God and trust Him and not worry about it.
Yeah, that's what
So
I'm
much
saying, bro.
better.
This episode's convicting me.
Yeah.
Like, I have my notes here, but yet I'm like, wow, Jay, you're like, I need to be doing this myself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the point of the podcast. Is like, yeah, like, well, me and Amara don't have it all. Like, we don't have it all together,
Yeah.
but like, this is the reason, man. Like, I'm glad I got convicted by this because I'm like, I need to do that more, like,
Yeah.
about my future and all that stuff. Like, I'm saying I am, but I'm really not.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to experience that freedom again, like when I
Yeah.
went my smoking, bro. That freedom felt amazing. Like I feel the freedom still to this day. Like
Yeah.
I don't have the like, oh man, I really need to right now. Like nah, bro. Like I'm free from it, and I need to be like that with my future right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a cool thing to realize because even for me, like, so when I got my first anxiety attack, I cut out everything except water. Like, I stopped drinking alcohol, stopped drinking soda, stopped drinking coffee, and I actually lost like 15 pounds. And I'm pretty sure
Wow.
that was all the alcohol,
Yeah.
But like, I think somebody was telling me too, like, oh, like, you don't miss it? No. And I'm surprised I don't because like I genuinely like the taste of beer, and like I'd have a beer like every night.
Yeah.
And so for me to be like, okay, I'm just, maybe because I was desperate, to feel better with my anxiety because, it raises blood pressure and that can contribute to it too, going from a medical standpoint. But like, I just gave it to God. Okay, I don't need this anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I think that like, sometimes that's what it takes too. Maybe you need to have a little scare or a test, a tribulation to go through to be like, okay, you know what, God, I'm sorry. This is yours.
Yeah. Wow.
And I pray that like nobody has to get to that point, but sometimes that's what we need.
Sometimes you just need. Sometimes you just need life to just slap you in the face.
Literally.
For you to wake up and God's like, actually, I'll just say, might be God just slapping you in the face.
Yeah,
like,
that's literally what it is, bro.
Can you lock in? You know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
can you please stop?
Exactly. So how can we remind ourselves to surrender daily, do you think? Like, what does that look like?
For me, dang, it's like, yeah, like I said, I'm still kind of going through it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be praying on my knees more, like,
Yeah.
in quiet
Me too.
meditation. I do love praying, but a lot of times, like, it's kind of like throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
like when I'm driving, like when I drove here, I was praying.
Yeah.
Just a lot of times when I'm driving, but I think I need to like legit just have that intimate time with God and just kind of go on my knees, bro. Because I'm not lying, that praying on your knees it feels different,
Feels
man.
powerful.
It
dude.
feels like you're legit like at submission
Praying
to God
before
and
God.
just like,
Yeah.
help me.
Absolutely.
But I need to do that more, bro. Honestly, I need to really be in tune with God more and just like be intentional in my quiet times
Mm-hmm.
and like what are things that are making me feel like I have to be in control. Like for me, it's like, okay, I realize this now. What am I doing about it?
Right.
Like what am I actually doing about it? Am I even looking at classes for the summer?
Right.
I haven't, but I'm now from this like episode. I think I need to now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what it is right there. It's like
Mm.
realizing, okay, what's the next steps to be able to surrender to God?
Yeah.
Like, all right, God, I keep saying these things. But all right, I need to listen. I need to
Mm.
just shut up and stop taking control and just. I need to listen to you.
Yeah, I think you're right with the whole prayer thing, especially like, um, prayer is such a powerful thing, right? So I think that the more you pray about it, and just the fact that you're praying about it, if you want to work on surrendering, like praying for God to give you the will to want to do that, you're gonna make it happen,
Yeah.
right? It's gonna become a habit for you because you are reminding yourself about it. You're reminding God about it, even though He already knows, and He's definitely gonna give you the will to want to do that, right? It's just
Yeah.
it is a habit forming thing because, like I said, if you guys know somebody you yourselves knows how to just surrender things to God, teach me. Get on this podcast, bro. Like,
Yeah.
teach us. Like, it's such a hard thing to do. Like, I think even just innately as humans, like, how easy is it for you to trust somebody that you don't know?
That's hard.
You
I
know,
don't know. I'm just like, bro, like, how can I trust you? I just don't know. There's no
yeah,
there's no bond, there's no chemistry, so it's like I can't trust that person.
right. And that's how it is with God.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, we know God. God knows us, but like, we know He's all loving, all powerful, creator of the universe. Literally, definition of love. But it's hard for us to trust Him.
Yeah. I think it's just like having like faith into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like the trust that what's it called? Who was it? Abraham.
Mm.
When God called him to like leave his like family and he'll build a nation. Like just
Yeah.
imagine that, like saying that to you, you're just like,
Wait a minute.
wait a minute, what kind of scam is this?
Yeah, right.
But like, or even when Peter walked on water, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine that, bro. Like it was a storm too. It was like legit a storm. Waves are going crazy. You just see Jesus just walking on the water. You're just like, bro, I'd be
What
freaked out. I'm
the?
like, whoa.
Yeah, bro.
And Peter had the faith to walk out on that. And I think that's like the same thing with us. It's like we need to have that sign, like
Mhm.
that type of faith to like Peter, I'll walk on water fine. Like I have faith in you. I'll do it. And that boy just walked on water, bro. Me like bro, what? But it's because he had that trust and faith
Yeah.
to be like, no, like I know who God is. I know who Jesus is. I'm gonna surrender that and just. I'll step out of this boat right now.
Mm.
And that boy's over here walking on water with Jesus.
But even to dive deeper into that, he began to sink because he got
Yeah.
scared.
Exactly, because he kept his eyes
Right.
away from Jesus. Once he saw his focus Jesus, that boy is just like started floating, bro.
Yeah, dude.
And
I think. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I was like that's literally our relationship with God.
Mhm.
It's like if we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, 'cause like you said, like how does that look like to if we just fix our eyes on Jesus, we just fix our eyes on God the whole way through what we're going through.
Mhm.
But as soon as we like, if we even start to like
Shift
step away
focus.
from Him, yeah, we're gonna start wanting to get control again because we're sinking. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a big part of that, just like the scripture said, is just fear.
Yeah.
You know, we're just, I don't know, like even for me, dude, like I get scared every day of not just knowing what's coming. You
Yeah.
know, like I think especially since my accident, like it can happen again.
Yeah.
No, but it's no way to live. You know, with all this kind of, it's no way to live. Like you can't live in fear. Can't live without faith. I think living without faith is literally living in fear. You know, you're not putting your trust in someone to take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just what it is. Like we need to get over our fears of literally life. You know, not knowing what's coming tomorrow, not knowing if we're gonna get hit with IRS bill. That's, hey, you owe $20,000 for the. Why, bro? Like, okay,
We don't know.
we don't know.
Exactly, bro.
That's just life. But like we have to learn how to give those things to God.
Yep.
You know, so to kind of start closing out, we have a few practical ways we think we can learn to live a life of surrender. First, we have praying with honesty. You know, telling God your fears, but trust Him anyway. Kind of just what I was just saying, right?
Yeah.
We are literally creatures that just fears. And you know what's the crazy thing? Like psychologically, fear isn't real. It's learned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like I don't know if you've heard of like the whole scientific like aspect of like. So I'm looking out the window right now. Windy as heck. It's cold. But if you go out there and you are strong enough to tell your mind, no, it's not. You're not going to be cold, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I noticed that too because I'm at work, bro. It'd be cold, and when like you're not even thinking about it because
You
you're
don't.
just like you're
You
focused
don't
on something
notice.
else. You don't notice that it's cold
Yeah.
anymore. You're just kind of like,
Oh wait.
But then when you look, you're just like,
Oh shoot, it's kind of cold out right now.
yeah,
Like yeah, it's such a crazy concept. Like again, just going back to trusting God with your fears. I think that's what all. This is what this all. I think this is what this episode boils down to.
yeah,
Surrendering your fears to God.
yeah,
That's ultimately what it is. Like I think we as people just live in fear every day,
yeah,
whether it's politics, just things that are going around the world, worrying if your neighbor's gonna do like rob you or something. Just
yeah,
general things. Like we live in fear all the time, but we don't have to. We can trust in God, surrender our fears, believe that He's gonna take care of us. The next one, is being obeying even when it's hard. The faith grows through obedience, and I think that's so true because like I don't want to compare it to like when you're obedient to your parents, you get a reward. I mean, it's the same
yeah,
kind of the same thing with God. When you're obedient, God will reward you.
right,
Not to say He's gonna punish you if you're out sinning and doing things He doesn't want you to do, but like you do see the rewards when you start surrendering to God and live in obedience. Right?
yeah,
The Bible says to surrender. Right. So if you start doing that, and I think honestly, the reward of that is just peace of mind. You feel that peace, you feel closer to God,
yeah,
right? It's also surrounding yourself with reminders, scriptures, people, accountability, worship. We kind of talked about this in the first episode, how we can surround ourselves with those kind of things to really just feel closer to God.
yeah,
But we can also just use that to surrender, right? I think that's the big thing for me too. We kind of both highlighted that, like for both of us, I think when we want to surrender, okay, pray about it. I think even for me too, worship is a big one, as I mentioned before. Like, okay, like I'm worried about this. So, sing it out to God. Let Him take over. But
yeah. I think sometimes even just like I know people will sometimes put like scriptures on like their wall or something to kind of remind them. Or
yeah,
like for me, bro, I have a psalm as my wallpaper, bro, on my phone because it's like you just need some like even just little
yeah,
reminders like that, bro. Honestly.
absolutely. And it makes a huge difference throughout the day.
Oh yeah,
You
one
know,
hundred percent. Because you're investing your life in putting everything about like scripture and God.
mm-hmm.
It's like you influence your mind to have that when you wake up.
Yeah. Um, Kind of closing questions. What's one practical way that we can surrender to God's will this week?
Uh, I think definitely looking into classes this summer for me.
For you,
Um, and I think my prayer. I think one way, honestly, right now, is to pray
yeah.
this whole week, on my knees.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start today. I need to
I'll do that with you. I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
We can remind each other,
Yeah.
hey, did you pray on your knees today?
I need to do that because, yeah, I need to surrender my future to Him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm too comfortable and too much in control
Yeah.
of my future.
I was going to say the same thing. I think just getting on my knees in prayer and just really... Because when you're on your knees, I think, like you said it earlier, like you're in a point of surrender,
Yeah.
right? You're surrendering before God. So, yeah, I'll do that with you, dude. I'll try to remind you. You remind me. Like, I think that's something I practically need to work on. Just getting on my knees and pray and just be willing to surrender to God.
Yeah.
How do you think surrender impacts our daily decisions?
I think because, like I said, when you have your own, when you surrender, I feel like all of your decisions you make are gonna be like glorifying God. Like, cause like, bro, like I said, like I wasn't making good decisions when I wasn't surrendering. I
Right.
chose to go. I took the decision to go sports betting. It impacts those decisions. But what if I did surrender? I wouldn't even thought about sports betting. I wouldn't even decide to even do sports betting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like those decisions change from like bad decisions to good decisions. Because you're surrendering. It's like, you know what?
Right.
I don't need to do this right now. I don't need to do this at all.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that you start making more positive decisions when you
Yeah.
surrender to God because you
Yeah.
know that you're going to be taken care of. Because we have a loving Father who truly cares and wants the best for us.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we're dumb, bro. Like, we as people are really dumb.
Yeah.
Like, we are so quick to make decisions with our hearts and our minds. But when we do that, we're just acting on emotion.
Yeah.
We're not thinking clearly. We're thinking at all, if we're being serious, but when we surrender to God, we think more spiritually minded. I think He allows us to make the wiser choices, the smarter decisions. You know, but in our notes we have that surrender isn't always easy. It's releasing control, stepping into the unknown, and trusting that God's plan is better than ours. And I think that's something that I personally struggle with a lot. Like, not that I don't trust God's plan, but like just not knowing what it is yet.
Yeah.
Especially because like for me personally, like to this day, I've said it before. It's hard for me to believe that I walked away from my car accident, right? So I think that what's always running through my head, especially when I have an anxiety attack, I'm like, okay, like what is God's plan with this?
Yeah.
Where is He taking me with this? He saved me for a reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's His podcast. Maybe it's somebody I meet 20 years from now.
No.
I think, again, just come back to the whole idea of like just we as people just fear the unknown, and I think especially for me now, like just willing to be surrendering to God and trusting His plan. That's what I need to work on. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's crazy to think about. Like I always say, bro, your accident was. I look at those pictures and I'm just like, there's definitely a plan in there. Because, I mean, it could be for your son, your daughter, or, like you said, someone 20 years, or this podcast. Like, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but definitely, it was definitely a plan of God because that wreck was a miracle.
Yeah. I think to kind of start closing off a question for the listeners, I mean, if you're getting started on your journey with God and, you don't even know what it means to surrender, ask yourself, what's still in your hands that you need to surrender to God? What is something that really gives you anxiety, something that really scares you, that you could really just work on being like, hey, you know what, God, I'm going to give this to you.
Yeah. Are you asking me that?
No, just that was a general.
I just
to edit this
like,
out. To edit
I'm
this
legit
out.
like thought of like
Figure
surrendering right now. Like that's what I'm telling you about. This episode is really convicting right now. I'm just like looking at myself. I'm like, look at being a hypocrite talking about this, but I know like this is what God wanted right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like for my heart to be pulled to this.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this episode's really, like you said, man, it really is heartfelt in this one. Like, so it'll pull you because everybody has something they need to surrender.
Yeah.
Everybody has that one thing that they just cannot let go. So I was gonna ask you guys, do you actually trust God enough to let go? Do you really have that much trust in God? Because I see people's posts like, man, glory to God, I trust in God, but it's like, do you really have that trust to let go? And I think right now I need to have that trust.
Yeah.
There's one question. I don't know if we should, like, I think it should be applied to both of us, but also like them. Like, if Jesus stood in front of you right now and asked like, what's stopping you from fully surrendering to me, what would your answer be?
I think for me, I said it before, just fear. I think, again, for me personally, I think part of it too, just even taking it back to like the fact that I didn't become a musician. Like, okay, like what's your plan for me, God? I think obviously the more we know about stuff, the more we feel comfortable. But that's the whole idea. Like, we have this free will that God gave us where like we can make our own choices, but like ultimately it all leads back to God's plan. And again, like, we don't know that. I could have a 5-year plan right now, but it might not be where God wants me to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
God can be like, well, you think it's
exactly.
your 5-year plan.
Exactly. It's my 5-year plan,
Yeah. No, I get you, bro. Honestly, like, thinking about this question, well, like, just like, imagine Jesus just staring in front of you, just looking at you. It's like, what's stopping you from fully surrendering to me? Like, what is it? And like, I think I need to have this vision when I'm praying. I think this is what it is right here.
Yeah.
That's why I zoned out, bro, because I'm looking at this question, I'm just like, my fault, God.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I need to Yeah, I need to surrender this. I
Mm.
need to surrender a lot.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I've won some things that I've surrendered, but like I said, bro, to this day, we're just gonna keep struggling. Like things that we just cannot let go of, and I think that's it right now for me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as well, talking about how we can surrender to Christ. Again, if this is something you're struggling with, feel free to reach out. We'll share your notes. We can even discuss what that looks like for us personally and what it can start to look like for you. Any closing thoughts, Jacob?
Yeah, like honestly, just like you said, um, surrendering is really just putting your trust in Him, putting your faith in Him. If if there's anything that you guys like just want to talk about in that aspect, like please do not hesitate to just let us know. We want to be able to listen to that. We probably will have experiences that you guys had, and we can relate to them.
Yeah.
You know, but I think this is very important because this is what's going to separate you from putting both feet in to your relationship with God.
Mm.
Because I know what it's like to be one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah.
We've all been through it. Even with us being followers, we've had those moments like we talked about like last episode, right? Like there's times where we were one foot in, one foot out, even as followers. But sometimes it might just be that one thing we just cannot let go of that could really push our to get to our breakthrough with God.
Mm.
But that should be it. I think this episode was probably my favorite one so far for me. It really convicted my heart
Yeah.
right now. And that's just being me real with you guys. This just shows I'm not perfect anyway. I don't have it all together. I'm still going through stuff like this, and I'll put right now I will learn to surrender my
There you
future
go.
to God.
There you go. All right, guys. Once again, I'm Armando,
And I'm Jacob,
and we are
the Gospel Guys.
See you next time.